Okay, we need to meet. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Okay, we need to meet. Okay. Please confirm if you can hear me. Okay. So, welcome to this. Yeah, minutes to share my screen. Sure. Okay. Okay, cool. Welcome to today's class. Hope you guys had a lovely week. I will try and keep this class as entertaining as possible. Though I'm not an entertainer, but I'll just give you session time to confirm that everyone can hear me before I proceed. Let me check a bit for that. There's a clock. Okay. Oh, noted. Sorry about that. Okay. Good. Okay, so let's start today's session. So welcome to Programming Language Essentials with JavaScript. My name, I think, let's say, yeah, let me still do a brief. My name is Imo, City of Media Health. And for today, I'll be taking you guys on the program on Programming Language Essentials with TypeScript. Okay, so before I proceed, I would like to, you might look at it as a disclaimer, but let me state it out there. I remember from the start of this class, we make some. I know that for the past 5 class, I've been getting a lot of comments like, when will we start coding? The hour has come. It is now. So please, as part of what you'll be needing for this session, we also mentioned that you need a working laptop. So please, if you don't have anyone now, I will not advise you to steal, but you actually need a laptop for this class for you to be productive. Okay? So, can we proceed? Let me state this, and I said this the last time I had a class with you guys. I'm going to say it again. There's high tendency that what you'll be learning today might not make sense yet. It might be any program, not be afraid. Take it as a welcome challenge. Then find time to go back and look through the videos, do some study on your own. With time, you will get it. If you're not getting it now, if you dedicate more time to, so sound is going on and off. Is assume it's just the network, okay? Okay, cool. So let's start. I'll move over to the first slide, which is what we'll be covering today. Programming and TypeScript. You'll be looking at my network. Let's see. Okay, I think the network should be better now. Please confirm if you can hear me properly now. Can you hear me now, please? I'm getting some complaints concerning. Okay, okay, yeah, this is far better. Okay, so let's proceed. So I'll go back to the previous slide. So which is this? So for today, we'll be doing introduction to programming and TypeScript, basic building blocks, staying within TypeScript. Everything we'll be talking so far today is revolving around TypeScript. And remember, I also stated something from the last class. We are not training you. Let me use the word train here, permit me. We are not training you to feel like TypeScript is the only language out there. We are training you in a way that it should be easy for you to pick up any language of your choice, independent of the syntax. So, in summary, everything we are doing here, don't let it confine you to just TypeScript. It applies to almost all programming language out there. Okay, so just learn this way. And one better way to get a grasp of programming language is by trying to use other programming language. During my first class, I mentioned I started with Java. Then I was opportunity to do C Sharp, C++, PHP, JavaScript, and the likes of it and all. But what this does for you is makes you understand that programming languages are just syntax. So you focus on just understanding how programming really works. So I continue. So we'll be also looking at data types. We'll be looking at control structures, functions in TypeScript, OOP in TypeScript, advanced typing, error handling, and best practice. So can we proceed? Are we ready for this? Okay, cool. I was scared people are already asking questions. Okay, so ask nothing. So let's proceed. Okay. So what is the learning objective for this class? By the end of this session, participants, that is all of us, we are learning from each other in this case, should understand the fundamental programming concepts using TypeScript, use TypeScript type system to write safer and more maintainable code, apply control structure and functions to solve basic problems, implement OOP with interface and classes, leverage error handling for applications. Okay, so I think we have done a lot of intro and objective already. So now let's go to the main stuff. Hope we're all ready for this. Okay, cool. I think we can proceed. So let's go. So, next slide. Yeah, so we start with introduction to programming and TypeScript. So I know we must have done this whole questioning from the first class, I know, but I feel it's a good place for us to start with. So, what is programming language? Before I read what I have here, I like splitting things, like I said before now, the last classes about. We have two words here. We have programming and we have language. So, what is programming? I want to assume at this point we all know that programming is the ability to write programs. It's the art of writing a program. Then what is a program? A program is just a set of instructions that tells the computer what to do. Now we now have the word language. Language is a means of communication. So when you are combining the whole programming and the language together, we have a language that gives you the ability to interact with your system, with your machines, telling them what to do. So if I'm to read what we have on this slide, we have a tool to communicate with computers by writing instructions that they can understand and execute. Okay? So it's like a special language that programmers use to tell the computer what to do. It's as simple as that. Okay? So we proceed to the next slide. So now, introduction to TypeScript. Yeah, the mighty TypeScript that we must have been hearing of. So TypeScript is a superset of JavaScript. It adds optional static typing to JavaScript. Code written in TypeScript is compiled into plain JavaScript to run on browser and server. TypeScript helps catch error early and improve maintainability. So I remember from the class that Mr. Dede had with you guys, he showed you various ways of compiling, interpreting. Then there's one they call it transpiling, if I'm not mistaken, whereby a higher level language is converted to another higher level language. So the thing is this: if you use things like Java, I'm making a lot of reference to Java. Is the one I started with. If you use stuff like Java, if you are done writing your code in Java, by the time you compile, it converts it to what we call a bytecode. So that bytecode is what is sent to various machines. That is what they understand. But the case of TypeScript is different. All it does is convert to the conventional common JavaScript that you know. Okay? So in the course of running this class, you will see that anytime we write something in TypeScript, on compiling, the first thing it does is convert it to JavaScript. Then you can now run your JavaScript. Whether you are running it on your server or you are running it via a browser. But in this case, you'll be using terminal. Okay? So let's focus. So JavaScript allows writing let age equals 20, which may cause runtime error. So I don't know if you guys, let me see if I can kind of light this. If you guys are seeing any error in let age equals to 20. So if you look carefully, we are making reference to age, and in this case, age should be a number. But the value we are storing in this age is a string. So if you are to write this in JavaScript, you won't get any error. It will just, any garbage in, garbage out, you move on. Probably it's at the point of compiling, running, I mean. That is when you might be able to pick out one or two errors. But if you are using TypeScript and you indicated that this type should be of type number, and you try to store a string on it, it's going to flag it. Okay? So let's proceed. I need us to do as much as we can on the coding aspects. So this is just a brief intro for you to get an understanding of what we are going into. So this will just give you a major difference between JavaScript and TypeScript in terms of features. Okay? So for typing, for JavaScript is dynamic, that is runtime. Most of the errors you get during JavaScript, I'm going to the error execution part as well, is after execution. For TypeScript, is static. Okay, it's at compile time. At the point of compiling, you're already seeing your errors. In fact, if you are using smart editors, at the point of typing, it's already pointing you as to maybe you shouldn't be storing a string in a number of variables. We will still get to the word meaning of variables and all. Just for now, just move with the flow. Then we have tooling support, we have basic, we have advanced. Then I'm going straight to the learning curve. For JavaScript, yeah, it's learning it's not that difficult, lower. TypeScript is slightly higher. Why? TypeScript, if you are enforcing using types in TypeScript, you need to try to understand if you are creating a variable, what is the type? If you are creating a function, what are you returning? What is the type of the value you are returning from that function? So the time it takes you to understand all this typing is just slightly higher, but by the time you enjoy it, by the time you understand it, it makes it easier for you to write error-free codes because you are following a scheme, you are following something predefined. since I've already said that, okay, something should be a number, your program is not going to allow you to store something that is not a number inside of it. Okay, so we'll proceed to the next slide. So for the next slide, we'll start going to our terminal. For this session, I'm using a Windows system. I realized from the last class, some people were looking lost because of probably we were using Mac. So in this case, we'll be together. We'll learn with it together. Okay. So I'm assuming that at this point in time, everyone have installed Node. Please, if you have, please say yes at the comment section, please. I'm just looking for one yes, then we proceed. Do we all have Node installed in our system? Okay, good. Yes, thank you. Okay, cool. So I'll be going to my terminal now. Let me share my screen. Okay. So a few minutes to share my screen. Okay. 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 So I'm assuming you guys can see my screen now. In a few minutes. Okay. 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 Let's give it some few minutes to come up. So I'll be opening my terminal now. Okay, cool. So terminal. So for Windows, you can call it command prompt. Some people might prefer to use PowerShell. Feel free, it's a free word. Do whatever you want. So, but if you are the type that probably you like the styling of the way, what do they call it, Mac and other terminals like what's the name of this OS, Linux, you can install Git Batch. Then you enjoy the whole same command prompt the way it looks like on the Mac. So please let me know if you can see my screen. Okay, someone is asking. Okay, your screen is blank. Just give it a few minutes. A few minutes, please. I'll stop sharing. Okay, a few minutes, please. Okay. Okay, so a few minutes. She said now. So while we are at that, I'll just answer some questions on the screen. I'm seeing something like someone is asking where can we get Node. Okay, I'm assuming you missed our last class. So you can just go online and search for Node.js. You should be able to download it from there. Is there any other question? Okay, so I think that is that. So I think I'll try as much as possible to probably do the session here So don't move back and forth. But by the end of the class, you will be getting the slides. Okay. So can we proceed with that, please? So how to confirm if Node have been installed in my PC? So, okay, let's proceed. So if you have Node installed in your system, just go ahead and type Node, and you get all this plenty stuff. Okay, so I'm going to exit this. So now I'm supposed to do Q. So a few minutes. So okay. So the first step is to install let's see. Not really a window fan. But let's see how it goes. Okay. So the first step is to install a Node. By the virtue of installing Node, you have your npm installed as well. So to install Typescript, you do npm install g Typescript. So doing the G sign here means you're installing it globally on this system, but in some cases you install it based on projects you're working on. Okay, but for this, we're going to do this. So once I press enter, it does installation. We have one package change. I'm getting one package change because I have it already installed. But if it was new, I'm going to see one package installed. Okay, so can we proceed from here? Let me quickly see. So it's not like a zip folder. No, we'll answer that later. So what I want to do now is I want to confirm if can I zoom in on my screen. So let's see. Can I zoom in on this guy? Yeah. Okay. I think it's better. Okay. Okay, yeah. So some that are just installing it for the first time, they're getting added one package. Okay, so that's cool. So for mine, it's because I haven't installed already. I have this. So the next thing we're going to do now is to try and write a program in TypeScript and see how it runs to see if we have a proper installation. So already before now, how did you get to terminal? So go to your terminal, you can click on start. You can search CMD for Windows. In fact, just by virtue of typing terminal, you get it. Or you select terminal, okay? But for Windows, it's CMD. If you are using Mac, you can just type terminal, or you can install things like item, but let's leave that. So CMD. I'm assuming most of us, I'm using Android. My brother, you're on your own, oh, but you'll be fine, hopefully. So let's continue. So that is how you get to your terminal. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a folder where I want to put my project for now. So I'm going to create a folder under desktop. Let me say I'll call this folder, call it TypeScript tutorial. Do this. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open my code editor. I just hope you guys remember what code editors are. Can I get examples from the chat session? Code editors. Which one do you have installed in your system? I'm assuming you guys have forgotten. So yeah, cool. We have VS Code. We also have Sublime. There's a lot. There's a lot. Okay, so but for this class, we'll be using VS Code. Okay, so that we are all on same page. So I'm going to open my VS Code. Cool. So I'm opening my VS Code. I'm going to go to the folder I just created. Let's Typescript tutorial. Okay, cool. So I'm there. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to start with a new file. I just want to do Control N. Control N. So I'm just going to do a simple console log. I'll be explaining what console log means. It's nothing much. It just simply means outputting something to the terminal, just to show something on the terminal. So in this case, I'll just write it is working. Okay. So as it is, if you look at the bottom, the editor is already seeing this. If you can see where my cursor is assuming that this is a JavaScript, because obviously this line code will also work well for JavaScript. But what we are doing today is TypeScript. So I will go ahead and save this file. I'll save it as probably first script. What is the file type? I'm saving it as TypeScript. So we'll look for TypeScript, just the TypeScript. Then we save. So if we look at the left sidebar, you notice the file with the extension .ts. So that's for TypeScript. We'll have the JTS, but for now, focus on this one at a time. Okay. So .ts is our TypeScript file. If it's a JavaScript file, it's going to be saved as .js. So let me say this is the code I want. I'm going to go to my terminal now. I'm going to go into that folder. I'm going to cd. You'll be hearing a lot of cd when you use the terminal. Cd simply means change directory. Okay. I'm going to cd into the folder I want to use for this test, for this class purpose. So first, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do dir. Dir will just show me a list of directories I have. For those using Mac or Linux, you can do ls. Okay. Someone said I should slow down. But I've not started though. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Do everyone agree that I should slow down? Are we too fast? I should not slow down. Okay. No, yes, no, yes. Okay. In this case, I'll say the no habits, but I'll do my best. Okay, I'll slow down a bit. Let's take it easy. Okay, let's take it easy. So first, what I'm trying to do here. Okay, what I'm trying to do here is I want to go. I'm on the terminal now. Okay, this is the terminal section. I want to be able to access the folder I just created. If you recall the name of the folder will call it TypeScript something. I think TypeScript tutorial. Because all the code I'll be writing today, I'll be running it from the terminal. Don't worry. We'll catch up. So let's move. Well, I've not started anything major now, so don't be afraid. Okay. So I'm going to do cd. So the first thing I did was I did dir. Dir gives you a list of directories, so you can call them folder where you are currently. So currently I'm on my drive, on my home page, which is Chukwudi. If I scroll down, I see the list of directories I have here. Okay, I'll show you a shortcut, but for now you need to learn the long cuts. Okay, where I'm trying to access is my desktop. If you should recall, can we go back to the terminal? Is there a back button? Okay, you know what? Let me close the terminal. let's take everything one at a time, okay? I'll try as much as possible to carry everyone along. So we're starting afresh now, okay? Please stay with me. It's too early to be lost, okay? So first thing first is I'm going to open my terminal. I click here, I search for terminal, but I tell you for Windows, the actual thing to search for is CMD, okay? Depending. So I click on this. So this is my CMD, okay? I'm going to make it big. And I'm going to zoom it so that you can all see. Okay. Are we okay now? We're okay now, I believe. Okay, cool. So what I'm trying to do now is I want to change my current location to the location where I want to be writing all the test code we're going to do for today. Okay? So for those getting having errors on installation of Typescript, please you can drop the error in the comment section. Cool. So what I'm trying to do now, like I said, is access the folder I created on the desktop via the terminal. So I'm trying to act like a novice. In this case, I don't know where I am currently. I don't know how to, even the spell. Let me assume that I don't even know the spelling of desktop. How do I access it? So what I do is I do dir. So for Windows, dir arrows help you list all the folders we have currently under this directory. So I will do this and I'm going to go here. I'm going to open a folder and show you what I mean. So I'm going to go to this PC so that you understand what this means. Okay, so I'm going to go to users. So now this is where I was. Chukwude. I'll be calling my name a lot today. So this is where I was. So if you open this now, you will see that everything you have here, the list of things you have here, is same as what we have on the terminal. So that is just what you are doing. There's no, you are just changing directly. You are just moving from one folder to another. Oh, so for the whole folder part, I'm not sure I can make it bigger. Let me see. Okay, okay. You guys are making so something like this. If you check all these names, let me see if I can just change the view. So maybe you see it in third view, list view. Still the same thing. Windows is beautiful. So if you check all these names, it's same as what we have here. Okay, so I've not done anything. All I did was type dir and it shows me all these folders. But in the terminal, we call them the directory dir, which is same as what folders. Okay, so calm down. It's not hard. You get it. Okay, there. But where we are trying to access is this one, the desktop. Let me go back to the folder structure. Where I'm trying to access, in spite of all this, is the desktop, which is these two folders here. Okay, and what I'm going after is Typescript inside the desktop. So how do I change from my current directory, which is Chukwude, to desktop? What do? I do cd. So like I said, I say cd means change directory. Okay, so I do cd and I do desktop. Then I press enter. So if you notice, this has changed. Formerly it ended at Chukudi Emego, now we have slash desktop. So I don't know if you guys are with me now. I think this is the this is the this is the least slow I can be, the best slow I can be. I'm trying to picture the right word. So currently now we're at the desktop. Okay, I'm going to do dir again. And mind you, if you are using Mac or you are using Linux, don't complain that the dir won't work for you. What you should use is ls when you want to see list of directories. Okay, but your cd, which is change of directory, will still work for you. Okay, cd works for everyone independent of your os, but for list of directories you have, you use for Windows you use dir, for Mac you use ls. Mac style of terminal on Windows, you can download git patch. Okay, so let's proceed. So why are we changing it? Good. So we are doing these changes because we want to be able to run all the codes we have been writing. And so far, we have already agreed that where we are going to store our codes is going to be on the Typescript tutorial folder. That is why we are doing all this change. Okay? So now let's move on. So now the next place I'm going to, mind I've already do dir under the desktop folder, and I can see my Typescript tutorial folder, which is where I'm going now. So I'm going to do cd Typescript. Oh, I didn't even spell it well. So imagine I didn't do this dir. I'm going to continuously type Typescript. Look at this now. Let's say I do this. It will tell me not found. Because in the point of creating the folder, I made a mistake. But nevertheless, we're going to use the name we have on the folder, which is cd Typescript underscore tutorial. So if you notice, I didn't type everything to the end. I could simply, once you have typed the first few letters, you can use your tab key on your keyboard, and it helps you complete it. Okay, then when I press enter, now I'm finally there. If I'm to do ls now, ls, I'm used to ls Mac. If I'm to do dir now, I'll see the file I created, which is the Typescript file, which we are going to recreate again. Or probably I'll just explain it. Are we clear now? So I'm going to leave this terminal like this. So I'm not doing anything here apart from running our codes. Are you guys with me now? 1 yes, and we can proceed. Wait. So today is going to be quite long for every one of us, so please be patient, okay? So let's proceed now. So now I'm going to go to my code editor. Where do we have our virtual? Okay, I think I closed it. So I'm going to open my code editor. Virtual Studio Code. Cool. I'm going to assume that I don't have this file inside. I'm going to delete what I have there already. So we start on the blank slate. Move to recycle bin. Okay. So now I'm going to assume that I don't have this folder opened already. So what I want to do now is open the folder that I want to write all my codes inside. You can come up with any name of your choice. You can decide to have your own on your desktop or maybe on your documents. Is your choice. Okay. So for the last person that just turned away and they saw Typescript, please focus now. Okay. Yeah. So let's go. So I'm going to go to file. I'm going to click on open folder. So which folder am I trying to open? I'm trying to open the folder I created on my desktop. So let me say, let me assume that I'm not in my desktop already. Let me say I was in my PC before now. I open my hard disk. I scroll down to users. You won't see this. I can't zoom this part, sorry. But just know that I'm trying to access my desktop, okay? Then I go to desktop. Then I see my Typescript folder inside. Then I open it. Then I select it. Once I select it, you can see select folder at the bottom. Then I click on it. Okay. So now if you have done that, you should see the name of the folder at the top left sidebar. You should see it there. Okay. So what do I want to do next? I want to create a new file. inside of this folder. I don't know if you guys can see these icons close to the name. If you over on this icon, you see new file. You over on this, you see new folder. But in our case, what we want to do is a new file. So I can simply do Control N, which is the shortcut for a new file. Or I can just click this. But if I click this, it gives me the option of typing the name of the file here. So let me just do the Control N. We'll do that one later. So let me say I do Control N, and it opens the whole of this. So the moment you press Control N anytime on your Visual Studio, you get a blank page untitled. Then you can start typing. So all I'm going to do for now is console.log. So I'm going to do console. Welcome to Typescript, and I will explain what it does. So can we proceed now? I just hope I'm not staying too fast. So let's proceed. So now this is what I've done so far. Console.log. This file I've not saved it. Okay, I'm done typing. I want to save it. And mind you, I want to save it as a TypeScript file. I'm going to explain what this console.log does. But for now, I want to save this file. You see this cycle, when you over it, you see close. The white cycle there, it's showing that I have not saved this file. And it's not even having a name. It's just taking the name of what you have inside the file. So to save this, I can simply come here, go to file and click save or save as, since it's the first time. Or I can just use the command we have here, which is Control S, which is what I did. So I'm going to do Control S, and this is what pops up. So mind you, I'm trying to save this file inside this TypeScript folder. So in your own case, if you don't have it opened already, let me say you are on another directory. Let me say you're on your desktop in this case. All you need to do is to open this folder. Then you give your file a name. Maybe in this case, I'm going to call this welcome. Okay. Then I'm going to scroll down, save, and select the type of file. So you see the save as type. You see various type. You are saying C, you see C#. Our focus in this case is what? Is TypeScript. Not the TypeScript JSX. This one is mostly for those doing what do they call this thing? React Native and all. Our focus for now is just TypeScript. Okay. So where do we have TypeScript? I think it's at the top because I've selected it before now. So yeah, TypeScript. I'm going to select TypeScript. I'm going to press save. So now if you notice, we have this file here now. So I'm going to delete this again and show you an easier way of doing this instead of going through the whole save stuff. I'm going to move to the recycle bin again. So instead of going through that long route, I can simply just come here, click plus. You see this plus icon here, that news file, then I'll just give it a file name. I'll do welcome to welcome.ts, which is a file extension for TypeScript. And that is it. Then I can simply write my code now, console. So you see, by virtue of saving it as TypeScript, it's already giving me some keywords, autocomplete, some keywords that I can use. So I do console dots. It's showing me everything inside console. Just calm down, you'll be fine. Then welcome to TypeScript. So, is there any question so far? So how do you see TypeScript? Just if you are saving the file, just search on the types, or you can just use this simple way I did, which is just welcome.ts. No, okay, no question. That was the question I asked. I was thinking if there's an issue. Okay, so let's proceed. So what I want to do now is to run what I have. After running, I will explain what it does. Okay. So let's proceed. To run this, what do I do? I'm going to go back to our beautiful terminal. I hope you guys still remember our terminal. So I go to the terminal. Mind you, in the terminal, we already have our TypeScript stuff folder, our directory open, local, right? So I'm going to let me clear everything that's showing here. So to clear everything on the terminal, also for now, we don't need all these things I've written so far. I can simply type CLS for Windows. For Mac, you need to type the full clear CLEAR. For Linux, CLEAR. For Windows, you can just do CLS just to clear your screen so we can have something fresh. Okay, CLS. So the next thing we're going to do now is do dir. I want to see everything inside the folder. Yes, you don't need internet to run your VS Code. You only need internet to install the node and the TypeScript. Outside that, you don't need internet for anything again. So let's proceed. So as you can see, we have our file now. We have our welcome.ts, which we created. Okay. So what I'm simply going to do now is compile. How do you compile? Very simple. You do tsc, sorry, tsc space the name of the file. So I can easily say the name of the file because I'm already inside the folder structure. Assuming the file is not inside TypeScript, I cannot just use the name. So that is why I need to make sure I cd. Please don't forget the meaning of cd. I need to make sure I cd into where that file is located, which is TypeScript tutorial. Okay. So now let's move. So tsc welcome.ts. This is how you compile. Very easy. So I'm going to press enter. I'm not just going to show you what happened. I'll take you back to the code editor. Can we proceed? Quick yes. But also will not stay till 11 for this class, but bear with me. I'm trying as much as possible to carry everyone along. So let's proceed. So I'm done. I'm done compiling. What I just did now is just compile. And in the case of TypeScript, compiling simply means changing from, if you can recall, from TypeScript to what? To JavaScript. So now let's go back to our code editor. So if you notice, when we did our code, all we had was just this. I never created this JS part, if you could recall, except you are going to deny me now, of which I'm begging you not to. We never created this JS part. In fact, I'm going to delete it again. Let me delete, so that some people will not feel as if I'm doing magic tricks here. I'll move to the recycle bin. It's not there again, right? I'm going to go back to my terminal. I'm going to use my up arrow key. Using the up arrow key will help me bring the last command I ran. Then I'm going to press enter. It's done again. I go back to my editor. I can see that automatically this file was created for me. Okay, so this file simply created the Java version, JavaScript, of the TypeScript version we just did. So is this JavaScript version I can actually run? Yes, it's magic, Abby. Okay, I think someone is just happy. I saved them. Someone is just helping someone in the comments. So now to run this, if I'm to run this code now, what I will be running is the JavaScript version. How do I run it? I go back to my terminal. Okay. So for some reasons, window is not my thing, but we'll try it together. So I do Node. I'm going to do welcome dot js. So to compile, I do what? tsc, the name of the file. To run, I do node, the name of the file, dot js, not the ts again. Then when I do enter now, I'm saying welcome to Java to TypeScript. Where is it TypeScript coming from? It's coming from what we have here. Okay. So now let me go back to the TypeScript version. Is there any question so far? Okay, so let's proceed. So now console.log. So what this console.log literally does is anything you have specified here is going to output it on your console. What do we call console? Console is like your terminal here. Okay. For those, if you are doing this on a browser, your console will be when you open your, what do they call it? When you open, still console now. When you open your do inspect, that will be your own console. You say everything you console over there. But if you are running from the server, the console is the terminal part. Okay. So welcome to TypeScript. If I'm changing this to anything, meaning if I'm to do welcome to TypeScript class 1, class 6, I mean, if I just simply go here and run, I'm still saying welcome to TypeScript. Why? Because I've not compiled. It's only when I compile, it's going to update the old JS file that was built. Okay. If you are getting an error, please look at the code carefully. Okay. So I do this again. I compile. It's going to update it. Now I do this. I can see welcome to TypeScript classes. Can we proceed? So I think at this point in time what is the right word? I can tell you guys well done. If it's your first time coding, you have written your first code. So congrats to everyone here. So I will just quickly see if there's any question. So far, I'm not sure I'm getting any question. So we can proceed. There's a lot for us to do today. There's a lot for us to do. So let's proceed. So permit me to, I won't be leaving this coding session. Like I said, we'll be sharing this after, you'll be getting your slides after. So allow me, just listen to me, okay? So the next thing we'll be doing now is a demo, a little demo to show you how TypeScript helps you compared to JavaScript. So let me go back to my code base. I'm going to go back to my code base now. Sure, I'm going to clear the whole of this. I'll just delete everything we have here. So let me close this JS. We're not doing JS, we're doing TypeScript. So let's see. For those of us that are used to, okay, let me use the example I have on my slide. So let me see. I'm going to do something like this. Okay, yeah, let's age. Okay, let me open this JavaScript as well. Let me start with the JavaScript part. I'm going to do var age equals to 20, just like I have on my slide. So on JavaScript, I can do this easily. But you and I know that age is a number, or let me say amount. Okay, let's leave it as age. But let me go back to TypeScript and try to do the same thing. I will explain what the keywords mean. Just hold on, just bear with me. So I'm going to do age equals to 20. Okay. Already I'm getting an error. Let age no face, blah 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 blah. In some way, I just don't have a type specified. But let me specify a type. Okay. Typescript is not assignable, cannot redeclare block scope. Okay, so already it's pointing out, if you go to this part, I'm not getting any error here. Just JavaScript, you will literally not get the error till most likely when you execute. But if you are using Typescript, especially when you even have a smart editor installed, you get to even see the error before you compile. In fact, in some cases, at the point of compiling, it tells you there's an error. So let me do something like this. Okay, hold on, please. Okay, so I will try not to go too back because you guys will always have this video to use. Okay, few minutes. Okay, so I think age is already a keyword, so it's not picking it. So let me use the word aging. Okay, so same thing. Assuming I try to save, let me say, accidentally, instead of putting 20, I do 20 here. It's going to flag it for me, telling me that string is not assignable to type numbers. So we'll go to the slide and explain what all these things mean. I'm just trying to show you that it's easier for you to have a code-free, an error-free code when you use TypeScript because it enforces typing. Obviously, I know as far as I specify that I want to have here is a number, it's not going to allow me to store what is not a number here, except I change this to a string. I will explain what numbers are string are when we get to this part of the slide. But for now, let's just do this, okay? So now the next thing we'll be looking at uh, is what variables are constant at. So for this, I'll go back to the slide. Permit me to open the slide. Let me see if I can collapse this. I'm not sure if I make it bigger, you'll see my screen. A few minutes. Okay, so I'll present. And I'm not sure you see my screen if I present. So, okay, you can see my screen. Cool. So I will go straight to, we've done this, which is installing Node.js. We all have installed Node.js hopefully. We have installed TypeScript on our system globally, which this -J is what it means. It means TypeScript is now available on your system globally. You won't need to install TypeScript again, okay? Then we did a little to show how TypeScript prevents you from catching an error even before you execute in the case of trying to store a string in a number variable. So now let's go to the basic building blocks. Okay. Okay, cool. So let's proceed. So variables and constants. If you have noticed in the course of having this little demo we just did now, I've been mentioning variables, a lot of variables. So what is even these variables I've been mentioning? So a variable is a name storage in memory that can hold a value. So in simple words, it's just a name. It can be any name. For instance, for those that still remember maths back in school, you hear a lot of find x and oh, what is x? X is a variable, the x that we have been finding for a long time. So a variable is a storage location that can hold a memory value. You can see the little example by the side. Let username string this. So in this case, the variable name is the username. Okay. Let is what enables you to create a variable. So in other words, let is a keyword. So we have let being a keyword, we have string being a keyword, we have const being a keyword, we have number being a keyword. Now, what is a keyword? So please listen. I don't want to do a lot of back forth because we are heading somewhere. We're heading somewhere. So keywords are words that have meaning already predefined to the programming language you are using. For instance, now if you notice, I was trying to use age, AGE, but I believe AGE means something. That is why it was shooting. It wasn't allowing me work. I cannot use LET as a variable name because it's a keyword and it means something already to the compiler. It means something already to JavaScript, to TypeScript. Okay, so there's a lot of keywords. There's for, there's why. So you can on your own, like what you have been mentioning from the onset. Most of the learning will be done by you. Okay, so you should find time to go back and learn more by yourself. What you are doing for you is soft landing. Okay, so we proceed. So what is a constant? It's like the word itself, constant. Constant simply means something that does not change. So a constant is a name data item whose value remain fixed throughout the program execution. We're going to be doing examples. Okay, so let is for variables that can change. Const is for variables that should not change. Okay, so let's do a quick, let's see. We'll do a quick demo by the end of the block structure. But let me just quickly go to the next slide. So data types. So what are data types now? I just hope I'm not too fast again. Uh, so data types are just simply types of data that is allowed based on programming language. So if you notice in the course of having this, I've mentioned string, I've mentioned number, but I've not mentioned boolean. So what that simply means is if you are creating maybe a variable, you need to it's going to be a string, it's going to be a number, it's going to be boolean. Okay, we'll do a quick demo of what that should look like. We have unknown, we have void, we have null and undefined. So we try as much as possible not to overwhelm you guys with things you might not need now. But what you need, what I feel you need, I'll let you know. But if you want to grow more, like I said, you research more on your own. So let's before we come to this, let's go back to our editor. Okay, so I'm going to play with variable names over here. How you use variable names. So let's say we have aging already. Uh, let's say aging should store a number, 18 years, 18 as a number. Let's create another variable that should be a string. I use let. Mind you, what we are doing now is creating variables, not constants. And I'll show you why they are variables and why they are constant. So I'm going to do, let's say we string, let's say name, let's say name, let's say first name is a string. I do this. Then let's create the last static one, which is boolean. I'll say let's say it's active. I'm active. I'm always active. Boolean. I'll say true. So let me explain the whole of this. I'm going to console. Don't forget what console means. Console means what's outputting to the screen, right? I'm going to do something like this. The number. I'm going to use plus. I'll explain what that means. Aging. And let me do console.log. The name, the first name. First name. Then plus console. Is active. Now do is active. Okay, so let's proceed. So the next thing I'm going to do is this now. So let's just do a quick explanation. Let's The let here is saying that this is a variable. And mind you, let is a keyword, console is a keyword. Okay? No, console is more of like a method, but let's leave that. Let is a keyword. Number is a keyword, which is data types. Okay? So what I'm simply telling my code here is, please create a variable aging, and on this aging I want to store only number inside, and in this case I'm storing 18. That is the first thing. The next one is create a variable called first name, and I want to store string. So what are strings? String are just words. And if you notice, unlike the number, the string, I have it enclosed in double quotes. Some programming language you can do if you're doing things like Java will enforce you to use double quotes if you are doing a string, but let's leave that. Let's just focus on Typescript for now. So I'm using double quotes. Get used to using double quotes for string. In some cases, you're allowed to use single quotes, but for now, I'm using double quotes. Then Boolean is active, only takes two values, true or false. Okay? So in this case, I'm storing true is active. So I'm going to run this now. So how do I run? Simple. The same thing. TSC, I compile first. But for this case, let me quickly go to the code. I want to show you. Do I have an error here? Let me go here. Sorry. So I think it's just an editor error. So just ignore. So if you notice, it has already created the Java version for me after compiling. Now I go back and run. Have the number is 18, the first name Chukwude is active too. Simple. Okay, so now let's go back to our code. Okay, so now I want to show you that why this is called a variable. It's called a variable because it can change. So what do I want to change in this case? Let me say I want to change my first name to another thing. No, this is JavaScript part. Sorry, I'm going back to the TypeScript. So please ignore these red lines. They are just editor related. It doesn't really mean anything. For now, focus on the code. Doesn't mean it's wrong. Normally, you get the errors when you compile. So mobile something is wrong with this extension. So let's go. I want to change first name. So let me say John. I'll go back and compile. I do this. So now you can see now my first name is John. So I can easily do this because of it's a variable. Variables can change. Okay? But assuming I'm to change this variable here, this let I have here, this keyword let here. Let me say I change it to a constant. I'm changing it to a constant now. I'll go back to my compiler. I'll try to run. I'll compile first of all. So now look at the error. We have one error found. Let me go see something. So if you even over on it, it's already telling something is cannot assign first name because it's a constant. So in other words, by the time anytime you create a constant, it's not something you can change. Okay? As far as it's not an object, we'll come to that. I hope we get there. So, but if it's something I need to change, I need to set it as let. So in other words, when declaring something, you need to determine this thing I'm declaring, is it something I feel will change later in the future? If it's going to change, you know you're setting it as a variable. If it's not going to change, yes, you are going to set it as a constant. So we'll go on a little break for now. We'll come back after. We'll have the attendance while on break. They will come back. But mind you, while we come back, I might be a bit fast. So please take notes. Thank you. Okay. 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 Welcome, guys. Back, guys. Please, let's continue. Okay. So for now, let's see if I will go quickly through the slides. So we know that all that we have left is the coding aspects. Okay. So I know we are done with the slides. Can we proceed that way, please? Hmm. So I'll answer all questions at the end so that we have enough to do. So we'll proceed. So we've done this. We've done this. So I think we stopped here. So we were looking at string, number, and boolean, which are the conventional types, the basic types that you will always use in most cases. Then we have the type called any. So any allows your variables act like allows your variables act like JavaScript. That is treating it as if there is no type. So, but as much as possible, we want to avoid using any. Only use it when it's necessary. Okay, I'll show you of an instance where it's a bit necessary to use any if the time permits us. Okay, so let's proceed. So we have void. Void simply means no return. In most cases, you use void when you create a function. We still get to know how to do functions a bit. When you create functions and you don't want them to return a value, null, the word null simply means nothing, null. Okay. Undefined simply means probably you create a variable and you're yet to initialize it. So for instance, I remember in the course of Deji's class where we have we mentioned something called initialization. We have declaration and we have initialization. Declaration is probably you just creating a variable and setting the type of data you want to store it. Initialization is you placing a value inside. So for instance, I can say let first name, specify that I want to start first name as a string, and I leave it at that way. What I've done so far is just declare. Initializing is when I say let first name is equals to Chukudi. Then I have initialized with a value. So in a case where you don't initialize, I just declare that value we assume the default value. But undefined is a case whereby you are trying to access a variable that you did not even declare anywhere. In most cases, you get undefined. Or probably you from the onset you declare that variable as to store a type of undefined, which is rare. Okay, so let's proceed to the next slide. So we're looking at data type. So we also under data type as well have what we call arrays. So we use arrays to store collection of elements of same type. Okay, so for instance, you are seeing the example there. We have let color column string. That string is telling you that everything will store in this array. You can see that square open and close braces. It's telling you that everything will store in this array. The string is going to be a string. So assuming in place of this string we have a number, all the values in this array should be a number. So for instance, this example we are storing color like as red, blue, green, in forms of string. Another example can simply be maybe months, which is string. So in this case, we'll be storing maybe January, February down to December. Okay, those are strings. So now tuple is a bit different. In the case of tuple, you are specifying the data type of everything you'll be storing in that array, still like an array. Okay, so in this case, you are saying let user, you are saying string and number, and you can see the value. In the place of string, we're having the name, which is Alice, and in place of number, we are having 25. So the next one we have is what enum. So enum is a special class that represents a group of constants. So in this case now we're seeing enum. We're seeing enum. Let me go back. We're seeing enum direction up, down, left, right. So on the nums, you are supposed to specify the values of these variables, but by default, it's going to take 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll give you an instance. By the time you start coding properly, you get to understand it. And let me say you are coding, and or let's say just play along with me. You understand? Even if you don't understand, just pretend. you have a column that you want to store type of users. Let me still go back to that school example I mentioned. So let's say under type of users, we have students, we have admin, we have parents. All these are various types that we can store as new. And you can say, okay, for parents, I want it to have the value of 1. For students, I want to have the value of 2. For admin, I want to have the value of 3. So this might not make much sense now, but believe you me, by the time you start coding and understanding structures properly, it will make sense. Okay. So a name is for just storing constant values. Okay. So moving to the next slide while I check if there's any question relating to this. We'll come back to the variable types later. But I've already showed you some various several types variable and show you what happens when you try to save something in the wrong type. For instance, we try saving using agent, we try saving a string inside of it. It was flagging us because we already specified that it should be a number. Okay, so if you don't get any of this, you still have chances of going back to watch the video all over. But for the time being, just try and move along. Okay, so we're going straight to control structure. For control structure, I will code a bit for this, or let's see if we can go through everything, then we'll come back. For control structure, so control structure helps you probably move from one staging of your code to another. So for basically, coding is supposed to be sequential from top to bottom, but with control structure, you can determine if you can move based on certain conditions from one place to another. You can decide to continuously repeat a loop, or you can just decide to just break out or end the code as a whole. So under control structure, we have control statements. We have the if, we have the if else, we have the if else, then we have the switch. Then under looping, we have for, while, do while, for in, for off. Then under the jump statement, we have break, continue, return to. So I will come back. We'll do a little coding on this later. A little coding on it later. But for now, let's see how far we can go with the slides. Okay. I won't ask any questions for now because I assume there will be a lot of questions. So now we go to functions. Let's see. Cool. So after functions, then we'll do a little coding. So functions. So under functions, we have define how you define a function. So functions are some programming language call them methods. It's just a means of writing a block of code that you want to call and you get a result. So for instance now, looking at this block, we have a function called greeting and you are passing something, a name to it, and it's going to output that name. So we have arrow functions, we have optional and default parameters. So I'm going to pause for a while now and we code a bit. Can we proceed that way? Then please, we need to limit the questions till the end of the class. That we will cover much ground, okay? So we'll proceed to coding. So for the coding, I will just start with the control structure. I'm going to use this. I'm going to use something. I'll just look up something. So let me clear everything we have here. So I'm going to do something like this. Console, I'll use let me use let in this case. So let's use age again. We want to write the time output something to determine if a particular user is an adult. So I'm assuming that for this code, I'm assuming that the moment you are above 18, you should be considered an adult. Okay. So let's say age is equals to 20. Look at this. For this case, 20. I'll go back. I'll say if. So now I'm using the first example under control structure. Let me share my screen. Few minutes. Yeah, I'll share my screen now. I thought I was sharing already. Okay, so can you see my screen now? Okay, so I've not really written much. So I've cleared everything we have on the previous code editor, the whole welcome stuff. So this is what we had before. So I just took it off. We're using the same file. So I'm going to do something like this. Let age. Age should be a number. Age is just a number. I'm going to call it 20. So I'm going to play with the first control structure. If age. So this means greater than. If age is greater than, you have also greater than or equal to. On your own time, please learn to go and understand what operators are, the various forms of operators. You have the plus, minus, divide, we have modulus, yeah, plus, minus, divide, modulus, and multiplication. We have raised to power as well. We also have some relational operators like the greater than, less than, not equal to. Please read up on that. So in this case, this is telling us this is greater than and equal to. Greater than or equal to. That is what this simply means. So I'm going to say this console.log you are an adult. Okay. Okay. So this is the code I'm writing. Okay. I hope you guys can see my screen now, please. Okay, you should be able to see my screen. So what is this code simply going to do? This code is simply going to check this age here. If the number here is greater than or equal to 18, it should output this on my console. So let's quickly go and run that. You don't have time? Let's do that now. I'm going to go here and do first. Let me hide this. First, I compile. Don't forget to compile. If you are not compiling and you are just running your node stuff and you're not getting results, just go and compile. So you can see the output. You are an adult. You are an adult. Okay, you are an adult. Let me take that slowly. So supposing I change this to, let me say 17, what happens? I compile. I run. Nothing happens. So nothing happens because I didn't set up another console to handle when the number, the age is not an adult. Okay? So that takes me to the next part of the control loop, which is what? If else. So let's go and do that. So I go back to my code. I'm going to add an else now. Else console.log. Let's say you are still young. Still young. Still young. Let's leave it as this. Okay. I'm going to go back. So mind you, please make sure you save. I already have auto save enabled. That is why I'm not doing Control S. To enable auto save, let's see if I can show you that quickly. I think it's under file. You see auto save. I have it enabled. So anytime you are making a change, please save before you compile. If not, you won't get any results. Okay? So let's proceed. I'll go back now. The same code that I ran that didn't give me any outputs when the user was of age 17. I'm going to compile. I'm going to run. Now it's telling me you are still young. Okay, that is you are still young. Okay, it's supposed to be you. So now let's go back to our code. Let's say we want to probably cater from let's say somebody that is above 18 years. And not just, let's find another delimiter. Let me see. Let me create more. So we have if else. So let me say it something like this. I'm going to start make this number bigger. Let me say if you are greater than or equal to 40, I'll call you an elder in this case. Then the next part is else if, which is the second control structure under the control statement I showed you. Else if comes with this. you need to specify what to call a condition. So everything you are seeing here are conditions, okay? Age greater than this. If this condition is true, run this. So for the S, if I'm going to do S, the age, let me say it's greater than or equals to 18, and there's an and. Please read up on all this. So the symbol for and is this, okay? We have the and we have the or. Please read up on it, okay? It's not difficult. But for now, let's focus on what you need. And age is less than 40. In this case, I will still leave it as maybe you are, is it youth? You're an adult. You're an adult. Then else, we cannot add the final else. So you can have multiple else if, let me do another one. Let me say age greater than, let me say 10, but less than, and it's less than. Let me say it's less than 18. Let me say I call you in this case teenager. I'm assuming that is the one for teenager. I'm not sure. Is it youth? Let's leave it. Then I can add a final S if I want to. If there's an X, I can do console. Log. Let me say it's still a child. Let's leave it that way. So now I'm going to be changing this number to meet up with these various conditions I have here. Okay? I just hope I've not lost anyone so far. Have I lost anybody? I'm looking at the comments. I just need one person to say I've not lost him at least. And remember what I said. Many of all these things might not make sense for now, but please calm down. Programming is not difficult. You just need to be patient, okay? You just need to be patient. You will get it. Take your time. Go back and read. You'll be fine. So at least I got some. I'm not lost. So I think I'll just proceed. So I'll save this. I'll go back and run. First I compile. Now I run. So I get to a teenager now. Formerly I was getting you are still young. Then I'm getting a teenager. Why? Because of the age I'm giving falls 17 falls under 10 and 18. Okay? So let me read this for you. So what this simply means is the age is greater than or equal to 10 and is less than 18, of which 17 is greater than 10 and is less than 18. So if we play with all these numbers, then let me say I go ahead and put, let's say something like, let me go back. I'll put something like 99 here. Or let me just say 42. I come back. Let me go on this. I'll get you my elder. So that is enough from if s. We have other things to cover. So I'll touch a bit on switch statement, just a bit, just a bit. So let's see. What do we do on switch statement? That won't be difficult. So let me say switch. Hmm. I can convert this to a switch statement though, but it might be a bit complex. And I'm trying as much as possible uh, not to confuse people more. So one at a time. So let's play with switch now. So let me say switch. Uh, a switch. What is it going to do? I'll come to this later. So let's see. What is it going to take? Let's say it's going to take a number. I'll just call this number. Let's call it identity. A few minutes, please. Um, I'm trying to look at the comment to make sure I'm not confusing anybody too much. Okay, you know what? I think what we do is we'll make switch part of the assignment. I've teach you on what if and else should look like. What I need you guys to do is what we wrote in if else. Get the switch version. That's why I can even confirm if on your own you are trying to learn this thing better. Okay? We can't teach you everything, but we'll do as much as possible to do the best we can. So the next I will go to is to loop statement. How does loop work? I'm going to quickly write a function that prints maybe 1 to 10. So I'm going to do the first loop statement, which is 4. We'll have 4. So the way loops work, the first thing you need to do is your initialization. So I'm going to do I equals to 0. Equals to 0. Okay. I'll come back. Yeah. Then I is less than or equal to 10. Okay. I think we're good here. Any question. Okay, let's proceed. I plus plus. Okay. And the console.log. I'll just let this one and I will explain what it does. Uh, let's do it this way. Okay. Something like this. I will explain. I'm going to compile this. Now I'm going to run this. So now you can see I printed 0 down to 10. So now let's go back to the code and explain what is actually happening. So I go back here. So now look at this. So now this is a loop. So mind you, I explained other control statements that control statements allow you, like control as a control structure, changes the flow of the program. Whether you are repeating something or you are moving based on certain conditions. We just saw if else. We are jumping some certain parts of the code based on some certain conditions. Now we are looking at a loop. A loop now is making you repeat something consistently till a certain condition is met. So for instance now, um, I wanted to print 1 to 10. Let me correct this to make sure it prints 1 to 10. If I'm to make this print 1 to 10, if you look at the console, the output started from 0 because I specified 0 here. Meaning it's going to print 0 first. Then after printing 0, it's going to come to this second part and check. Let me highlight the second part here. It's going to come to this second part and check. Is 0 less than or equal to 10? Yes. Okay? Then it increments. It's going to continuously increment till this condition breaks. So for instance, now number 0 breaks. Okay, you know what? Let me break this so you understand this better. I'm going to create this I as 11. I'm going to save this. I'm going to run this. Nothing comes up. I'm going to go back and make another change now. I'm going to change this to, let me say 5. I'll go back here, compile, and run. Now you notice it started from 5. So what is simply happening? Any number you have here, first it's going to check if this number meets this condition of being less than 10 or equal to 10 before deciding whether to execute the code. Okay? Then, after it's done executing the code, this will run I plus plus. So what I plus plus simply means is increment by 1. I can simply write this as another way. I can do something like I just hope I won't crash this guy. I plus 1. I'll go back and compile. Yeah, if you notice, it's still the same thing. I can still play with that thing and decide, okay, instead of increasing by 1, let me increase by 2. So I'm going to open this editor. Yeah, let me increase by 2. I come back here. I run, compile, I run. So you can see that it's shorter now. Okay, so all these conditions are there for you to play with. For instance, now if somebody is asking me, please, I want you to, in fact, I'm still going to give as an exercise. There's going to be a lot of exercise for you guys. But what I'm going to do simply now is I mentioned different kind of loops. I mentioned for loop, I mentioned the do while loop, I mentioned the while loop, I mentioned also there's a for in and for off. I'm going to leave that for you guys. The next I'm going to touch on is the while loop. So the thing is, anything you can achieve with the for loop, you can do with the while loop. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to comment this. So comment simply, you guys remember what comments are from the previous classes, meaning this thing is not going to run. Abi? So I'm going to write the while version now. So what do I do for the while version? First, I'm going to set my number out. I'll do something like this. Let I equals to 5. I number. I'm specifying the number. Please don't forget that the I am making reference to here is a variable. Yeah, don't forget. It can be any name. I can say maybe let John. But in this case, I'm using I. It's a variable name. Okay. So now I can create a while loop. Now I can say while I is less than 10, less than or equal to 10. Execute this code. So what is the code I want to execute? I want to do console.log, the same console.log, print out numbers plus I. Then there's something else missing, which is the last part, the incrementer or the decrement, changing what is changing it, which is this I equals to I plus 2. This can be written in another form as I plus equal to 2. Research. Okay, we need you to grow more by doing more research on your own. So I'm going to run this code and see if we're going to get the same output. So first we're going to compile to see if it breaks. It doesn't break. Now let's run. Now I'm getting 1 1 1 1 1. Let's go back and decode. Why am I getting 1 1 1 1? Let's go back. Let's see. So we have let I this. We have I this. So I is starting at 5. So now look at the mistake here. I'm supposed to specify I here, which is what I'm printing, not 1. No, it wasn't that I specified 1. Okay, so let's proceed. We'll go back and compile. Compile works. Yay, it works. Okay, so I don't know if you guys are getting thrilled by this, but believe you me, by the time this thing starts kicking in, you will enjoy this. You will enjoy this. So I'll state again, anything you can do with a for loop, you can do with a what? with a while loop. So now we have another loop called do while. So do while is different because do while expects your code to run at least once before checking the condition. Every other ones we check the condition before running. Okay? But do while we make sure you must run at least once. For instance, now you guys recall when I changed this number to 11, it didn't run at all. So let me even do an example. I'm going to comment this now. I'm going to comment this guy and show you down to the top. Yeah, I'm going to do while now to show you the difference. I'm going to say in this case, let my I, let it be 11. Then my condition, I'm going to specify that why, no, before the condition, let me write what I want to do. I want to console.log to print out I. Then mind I want to do the increment as well, which is I plus equal to 2. Okay. Then the next thing I want to do is this. I want to now put my condition, which is run this as far as I is less than or equal to 10. But in this case, obviously, our I is already greater than. Right? But we're going to go ahead and run this and see the results. I'm going to run this. So let's see. Data share. Then I'm going to do this. So as you can see, it's still created at the level, meaning the code ran once before checking the condition. So I'll quickly dash into functions quickly because after functions, I'll just go ahead and take questions. Then we share the slides. You guys will get the slide. Then we can pick it up from there. But like I mentioned, most of the workload is on you guys. Okay. So I think I've been using the word compile a lot. For Typescript, it's not actually compile, it's more of transpile. English is a problem. Transpile because you are just changing from one language to another language. Compile is changing units to something not human readable again, mainly for the machine. Okay? So transpile. I'll be using it interchangeably, but the actual word in this case is what? It's transpile. Then I think the last thing I will touch on now is just functions. How do you write a function quickly? How do you write a function quickly? So I'm going back to my code editor. I'm going to comment the whole of this. In fact, let me play the whole of this. We have the time to go through the video gradually later. So I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to write a function. This function will probably take a number. I'm still going to play with the age stuff. Check if adults, something like this. So you are checking if someone is an adult. And what do you need to know if someone is an adult? Their age. So I'm going to take their age, and their age should be a number. I'm explaining the code already. And what do I want this function to return? True or false? In that case, true or false is what? Is Boolean. Okay? So now, what do I want to do? I want to check if the number that entering is greater than or equals to 18. In this case, I'm using 18 to determine if the number age entered either is an adult or not. So I'll do this. I'll use our popular if. If age is greater than or equal to 18, I'm going to use a keyword that's part of the jumping statement we have on the control, which is return. Return true, S, return false. So now this is a function. So but the thing is this, if I just go ahead and save, I do this, I run it, nothing happens. Why? because even if I'm done writing my function, I'm not calling it anywhere. It's not yet in use. So you're not going to see the output. Okay. So if I want to get the output of this, what do I do? I need to actually call this function I just wrote. So what do? I do something like this. I'll do check. I call check if adults. Now you can see this is telling me that this is a function. Then I do braces. It's telling me that it's expecting age of a number and any. So in this case, I'm going to specify age. So let me say I put 20. I'm going to console log this. I'm going to create a variable for this and I console log it. Let me not confuse anymore. So I'll say let boolean if adults. Let if adults. Okay. So now I can do console log. If adults. Okay. So let's run this now. So first we transpile. Let me stop calling it compile. Transpile. Do you have any error? We don't. Now we run. Now we see is he an adult? True. So why am I getting true? Because the number I entered here is above 18. The number I entered here. So supposing I change this to, let's say, 13. All I need to do is just to go back, come transpile. I'll try and guess if that works. I get false. So that is just basic usage of a function. So now this is just a simple way of defining a function. So we also have what we call arrow functions. Okay, it's just changing of style and structure. For instance, now this same function, I'm going to change it to an arrow function quickly before I probably end the class. For now, to change an arrow function, I do something like this: constant. I'm using the constant keyword now. Do check if adults equals to do age number. I'm expecting a string at the end. Then I use arrow function, this arrow key. That's why it's called an arrow function. So I can do like this. Return. Can I do this? Then all I need to do is to the whole of this content here. Sorry. Copy. Then I uncomment it. So let's see. I'm missing anything. Return to return false. So let's now compile and transpile. Okay, so we have error. So let's say let if adults, if boolean, let's see. Type string is now assignable to boolean. So let's go back. So let's probably fix this. So let's see. So mind you, this is supposed to return boolean. That's what we missed. So let's go back. Uh, let's do this again. We are good. So now same results. So I think I'll stop the class here for now. My slides will be available for you guys to download. And before I start looking at questions, let me share something quickly. So we now have weekly assignments. Allow me to get that for you, please. Few minutes. Hold on. I'll stop sharing my screen for a while I look at questions. Then I'll give you the URL where you can get your weekly assignments. So please, you can start seeing your questions now, if there are any. Mm. So, uh, So, share my screen back. Okay. So, we'll be having weekly assessments. Uh, the URL to the weekly assessments, you'll be seeing it on your screen now. So, this is it. So, every week, you're expected to attend to these assessments. So, I don't know if you guys can still see my screen. Okay, yeah, it's coming up now. So, this is the assessment here. So, I'll just look at questions quickly. So, yeah, all JavaScript syntax, yes, they are similar to TypeScript, but the difference is TypeScript is, like I said, it's a superset of JavaScript. You are just adding typing. So, what that typing does for you is prevent future error. So, for instance, now the last code I wrote now, if not for TypeScript, it would have won. But by virtue of the fact that I already specified that I'm expecting a boolean, at the point of transpiling, I was getting error already. So you don't need to wait till when you ship your product before you start seeing your error. You see it at the point of transpiling. So there is no limit to the use of if else. You can have a if else down to 10 lines. But for the sake of having readable codes, the moment you see that your if else is getting that long, you can look at probably you want to change it to a switch statement, of which I want you guys to research on how to use switch statements by yourself. Okay, so let me see. Is there any other question I've missed? So please, you can drop your questions now. Uh, I'll just go through the questions to see if I've missed anyone. Uh, let's see. Any question? So I see for those of us that are already using Python, I mean, no, I'm not expecting you to switch. Like I said, that doesn't mean you shouldn't learn this. Okay, there is something you derive in learning multiple language. It makes it easier for you to appreciate the language you want to use going forward. So, for instance, now when someone brings a problem to you, in most cases in a real life scenario, they are not interested on the language you use in solving the problem. All they need is results. You on your own will be the one to determine which language you want to use. So I'll be handing the class now. It's nice having this session with you guys. Thank you very much.